Dr. Bedi is actually someone who was one of the first people to start speaking out on air pollution, and huge respect to ma'am for having done that. Dr. Kiran Bedi, my question is this. It has now come to a point where pollution is not just a debate on a news channel. It's a matter of concern for India globally. It's being picked up in conversations on business and economy.
Yes, because the capital of India, where there's a peak tourist season, capital of India, when it was peak tourism season, just was not transportable. You could not be out on the road. There were some weeks where the level went up to 700, 800, at some places even more. So once this made media news, and not only media news, it restricted people's mobility. And the statistics is showing, the economics is showing how tourism fell, hospitality fell, the people who have hotels, footfalls fell. It was somewhere in today's paper yesterday. All this was affected. Why? Because quality of life was affected. Quality of life. That's when quality of life and mobility is affected. Everything gets grinding all. Everything slows down. So economy is also equally affected. When it comes to health, whether it's statistics or not, the question is, you breathe clean air and you breathe dirty air. What makes you healthy and what makes you unhealthy? Dirty air makes you unhealthy and clean air makes you healthy. And
ma'am, but it's so simple. It is so simple and everybody is talking about it. What is stopping the government from taking concrete actions here? After consistent reporting, we finally had GRAP 4 implemented. Now, GRAP 4, as you all understand, is a double whammy, right? It's really hard for people who are at the bottom of the pyramid because it stops construction work, labor doesn't get work, they don't get paid. They're saying it's back to the pandemic situation. We are the ones who suffer the most. All of this is correct. But why have we not seen? Last time you were on the program, you said the Prime Minister must step in. We still haven't had the Prime Minister step in on this issue.
Well, Supreme Court has stepped in very heavily. I think if you see today's AQM has reported back to the Honorable Supreme Court of entire checklist of what needs to be done. In fact, this is come just not too late, but thank God it's finally come. The AQM has the body has given a full checklist of all which department must do what. And you know what it's saying? It's collaborative. That means the entire governance is involved. Because there's so many departments involved, and that's the reason at that time I requested the top of the leadership to step in to bring in collaborative and make it a coalition. The AQM and the matter to the Supreme Court exactly saying this, and it's listing every department with to-do list. It's a to-do list. Now, how do you perceive to do this? I think go by the way Prime Minister of India does infrastructure. The Prime Minister of India does Pragati model. Pragati is bringing for infrastructure, bringing the key ministries together, and he evaluates that immensely. That's why we've had on time very good clean airports. We've got highways in time. We've got railways coming on time. And because of his Pragati scheme, why not bring something like Pragati for even air pollution? Because there are many departments involved, and therefore they need very coordinated work. So the checklist which has gone to the Honorable Supreme Court today, I think it was in today's paper, where the AQ of the body, the quality management body has for the first time listed a to-do list for every department, whether it's industry, whether
ma'am, but who will ensure implementation? When it comes to India, ma'am, the problem is not that we don't have solutions. We have the brightest minds in the world that are, and solutions are plenty. Solutions are also known. Some solutions are low-hanging fruits. But why? We struggle with the implementation, right? GRAP 4 is there, but how many cars are flouting it? Nobody's checking. GRAP 3 is there. You're supposed to be putting out those water sprinklers outside and covering your construction sites. How many places is that happening? There's open violation every day that happens, and we live with it. Implementation is the issue. As somebody who's been on the implementation side of things, what do you think is holding back the government on this issue?
Because you need to bring in everybody together on a regular basis. All these ministries which are mentioned now by the AQM and the Supreme Court, in fact, exactly on the anvil of directing them to put systems in place which bring all of them together on the same pattern as Pragati is done by the Honorable Prime Minister. And I think, Sonal, that's the only way it will work. They have to learn to work together and then understand where the baton, what is hurting where, and they correct it. I think India needs a very coordinated governance, not isolated governance, not silos, but very coordinated governance at the levels of the chief minister, at the level of the chief secretaries. Once you do it, and at the level of the Honorable Union Environment Minister, the Union Environment Minister, State Environment Ministers, Chief Ministers, and Chief Secretaries, the day they all start working together on a regular weekly basis and then review what is stopping where, will we see a change? Because that's where finances will be, because everything has a cost. Supposing you today decide to have a transportation change, it's a whole, the whole electrification of buses.
What's stopping them? What's stopping them to start on it today?